Los Angeles continuing to battle through just historic wildfires that are hopping from place to place in the city. The winds have now died down in LA, which should help with preventing the start of new fires from happening as easily. Yep. The main way that these new fires were popping up was, hey, you've got a house that's on fire. Part of it, you get 40-mile-an-hour winds with 80-mile-an-hour gusts. Part of it blows 2 miles away in the gust and lights a whole new area on fire. So that appears to at least be not as big of an issue now, but you still have these fires largely uncontained in a lot of cases. And the estimates now are that insured losses could be more than $20 billion and total economic losses close to $50 billion. This according to J.P. Morgan analyst Jimmy Buller. And so obviously this is just, talking about it from the economic standpoint. I can't imagine actually living out there and being, seeing these fires popping up. And the fact that there are, at this point, fewer than 10 people confirmed dead, I think does speak to the fact that as hard as it has been to contain these fires, they've at least done a good job of getting people out of harm's way, because they're now estimating that more than 10,000 structures have been destroyed at this point. That's up from 3,000 early yesterday.
The state's insurance commissioner, Ricardo Lara, issued a 1-year mandatory moratorium to shield those neighborhoods for canceling or non-renewing residential policies that are in those LA neighborhoods, which...
What are we got to pause here on that. So that's new as of like today?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. If you were covered by one of those policies before, even if they cancel it tomorrow, you still were covered during the period in which your house burned.
True.
A 1-year moratorium on this. Mike, how easy is it to just demolish and rebuild a whole house in 1 year?
Not too easy.
What are you going to be covering during that time? You're already getting the insurance money coming out.
1 year doesn't make any sense. Here's what does make sense. LA is burning right now, and your policy is due to renew today. I do generally agree that, hey, so long as your home is in danger of burning, having a moratorium on that company from being able to cancel your policy in the midst of all that.
Well, that should be a baseline of how...
A baseline assumption of how insurance works.
Yes.
I don't know what a 1-year shield on all this does, because it seems silly.
Here's the problem. I have absolutely no sympathy for the insurance commissions the insurance commission in California.
Oh, they've screwed the pooch on this for years.
They have basically created this situation where you have people being dropped because they're not allowing carriers to charge market-based rates.
It's actually more and worse than that.
It's worse. So
yeah.
Here's the thing about California. Do we need to take a break, or can I go for 2 minutes? Okay, we can go. So California is a state that talks about how they want to be on the cutting edge of climate change and how they want to be able to reduce the impacts of climate change. At the same time, they refuse to let insurers use climate-based models to actually price their policies because
Correct.
They know...
That's exactly where I was going.
They know that those policies would be horribly expensive when pricing in the risks that they're seeing.
So what California has done... And they've changed this a bit now, but were doing for years was saying to insurance companies, you may not use predictive technology to price your policies because what it's going to result in is indicating
higher prices.
That basically our state's going to burn down. And so instead, you must look at historical data only when pricing out policies. And guess what insurers said? Screw you, we're not writing policies.
Bye, Felicia.
Why, yeah, and I think I would agree there with the hypocrisy of California saying, hey, you can't use this. I can see, well, I would disagree with it. I could see a state like Mississippi saying, no, we don't want you using forecasting models.
At least
that
you're consistent
predict.
there.
Yeah, you're at least being consistent in your messaging of we don't believe science. If you are California doing this, you are just completely hypocritical.
And the result is that you've screwed over the people that you're trying to protect as the state insurance commissioner.
Correct.
Because this is why so many have had dropped coverage and now don't have coverage for this stuff.
Now, to be clear, I don't know that was Ricardo Lara specifically.
No,
but the commission itself has had a long period of time of this type of behavior, and
the reason
is where
why,
we've gotten.
Guess what? The state insurance commission, they're elected positions.
Right.
If of course you're going to vote for the person who says they're going to keep the increases from going up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the very policies that they've gone through to get here have screwed over the people that need to be protected because their homes have now been destroyed. So I just feel so bad for the people that live there. And I know that it's so popular now to be like, well, they had it screw you if you're saying that someone had it coming from a natural disaster. Okay? No one deserves to have this happen to them, but we deserve better than just being, politicians that focus on, well, we got to get to the next election regardless of what it means for how we're actually managing the risks that are out there. Okay? Because there are thousands of people now, and I get it, some of them are very wealthy and, how could you feel bad for... No one deserves to have their home destroyed. I don't care if you have $400 million or $4. No one just deserves to have it happen. We can have honest conversations.
I can think of one or two people, but no, generally speaking, agreed.
Sure. But we can have honest conversations about how do we deal with this going forward and how do we should we be rebuilding these homes the exact same way or in these locations? Fine, that's a conversation to have. But let's please get past all this stuff about, they knew what would... No one deserves to have this happen to them, and it sucks even more that the policies that are in place for handling home insurance in California have made it worse for a lot of people.